Hey everybody, it's John from Play and Trade Guitars. Thanks for hanging out. This is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it. And I'll tell you what, I got to spend about a week with the new Kemper Player, and I've learned a lot of ins and outs. I have a lot of pro tips for you after kind of dissecting this, setting up my rigs the way I want them, setting up the buttons the way I want them, and after getting a lot of feedback from you on my last video where I unboxed the Kemper Player and went through an initial playthrough and full demo. You can check out that video. At the top, make sure you hit subscribe because we're giving away a Martin D28 when we hit 100,000 subscribers. To win that guitar, you have to sign up via Gleam, link in the description or pinned in the comments, and also make sure you're subscribed to our channel. And beyond that, if you're buying any new gear, remember to buy new gear using our link. When you click to buy new gear using our link, you support our channel directly and you help us make these demos. So thank you for doing that. Without further ado, let me cover some of the Q&As, the most common concerns, what people liked, what people didn't like about the player, and tell you how it's fitting into my rig today. I'll also give you a full in-depth demonstration of the features within Rig Manager and show you the stock sounds today of the player. And I've also gone with a Les Paul this time so you can hear it dialed in with a humbucker sound. So let's get to work. So based on a lot of the comments, I want to clear up a few misconceptions. First of all, the Kemper Player is not meant to replace the Kemper Stage, the Kemper Rack, the Lunchbox. It's really meant to be, as Kemper says, the bad little brother, the little brother that has a ton of features packed in, but it's not going to be a full replacement for the traditional Kemper Head or Stage, which has a ton more functionality. Yes, this has limited functionality, but it's designed with a certain player and certain purpose behind its functionality. So we'll talk about that. This is really going to be something that you grab and go and you put on a pedal board or you travel with, or like I said in my last video, I'm going to use this as a satellite to my main Kemper rig. Now, to show you how committed I am to the Kemper Player, I've already removed my Kemper rack from its 8U rack case that I showed in your last video, and I've mounted it to the desk. So it's actually right in front of me here in the desk. It's truly going to stay in the studio now, and when I play live or travel, I'm going to use the player in its place since it has the sounds that I need. Another thing, if you're new to this, a lot of people ask, if I don't have a Kemper Profiler, can I use the Kemper Player? And absolutely yes, it comes stock with 50 sounds that I'll show you. But in addition to those 50 sounds, you have the entire rig exchange from Kemper Online. So once you own a Kemper, you can sign into the rig exchange. There's tons of free profiles. You don't need to profile your own tube amps. You don't already need to own a Kemper head or rack unit. All you need to do is get this unit, plug it into this computer or connect with your phone, which I'll show you how to do. And you can use any of the rigs from third parties like Michael Britt, or you can use the Kemper free rigs that are available online. There's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of profiles available to you if you just have the player. It's great for that purpose. How will it compare to traditional rigs that you might already have in Rig Manager if you have a Kemper? Well, there are limitations in the space for effects. And we'll talk more about effects in a second. But basically there's a module A and B ahead of the stack. The stack is the amplifier, so to speak. And then post-stack or amplifier, you have two more effects modules for delay and reverb. Because many rigs you might have in your rig library already have more effects than that possibly, it's going to truncate and only keep the effects from your prior rigs in slot 1 and 2. So you might have to rebuild and then tag your new rig, save as, and tag that as a player rig, because you might have to modify your old existing. Now, if you're buying this and you've never owned a Kemper before, it's not going to make any difference to you because the stock rigs are all built with this 2 effects pre, 2 effects post limitation in mind. That said, another thing, every profile is completely compatible in terms of the stack. Any Kemper profile of an amp and a cabinet is 100% compatible. There is no difference in audio quality or functionality of the amp that's been profiled. The only limitation is the number of effects that you can involve ahead and after. And also there are some lacking features like morph and other advanced usability features. And there has been a hint that they will add functionality for these kinds of things in the future, possibly as a paid software upgrade. We'll have to watch for that. I think Kemper purposely kept this with the direct, limited approach so that it wouldn't cannibalize the sales of its mainline profilers because let's face it, I don't think it's meant to replace those. So I think people miss the mark when they say, I'll stick with my stage or I'll stick with my rack or my lunchbox. Of course, it is not meant to be a replacement. That's really key. Another big point of discussion, stereo out, okay? The main output, according to Kemper, is the single XLR, which is a balanced line out through one XLR. It's not available in stereo, it's only available in mono. Many of you have pointed out that there's a stereo out, and that is called monitor out. The biggest difference, and the reason that that's not an apples to apples comparison to the balanced line out of the XLR, is that your monitor out is an unbalanced line. Unbalanced line is fine for monitoring out to studio monitors that are nearby or powered cabinets like the Kemper Cone that are nearby you on stage, but you can't be running 50 to 100 feet to a back of house, soundboard. So what you've got to keep in mind is that your main out, the safest out, is the balanced XLR mono out. Now, that said, that's front of house connections. If you're recording, absolutely you can record stereo. You can record stereo a few ways. You can connect your monitor out to the system, but it's even easier than that. This player is a USB interface. All you have to do is plug in the player itself via USB to your computer and then select in your recording software that you want to record in stereo, and it'll do that for you. There's absolutely no limitations with recording in stereo. The only limitation that's going to be mono is truly what is supposed to be the front of house connection, which is that single XLR, which is mono. If you want to record in stereo, no problem. If you want to run to front of house, it's risky to do that with an unbalanced line because unbalanced is going to bring noise to the equation and it's not meant for that application. A lot of people also ask about MIDI. You can connect a MIDI device via the USB-A jack. There is not a dedicated MIDI jack on this. It is still fully compatible with MIDI devices that can connect via the USB. What other questions or concerns do you have about the player? Drop a comment right now, and I'll do my best to address those in the discussion or in future videos. But now let's dive in and make some noise. I'll show you the stock sounds that come with this profiler, and I'll show you some of the capabilities of the buttons involved, the switching involved, and how this actually works in application. So let's dive in.